Canada has introduced a new immigration pathway exclusively for Africans to migrate to Canada, and this comes barely 2 weeks after the Canadian government announced an increase in immigration targets for 2025. If you are watching from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, Cameroon, or any part of Africa, there is good news for you. You can now apply for a work permit directly from your country to Canada without needing a job offer from an employer in Canada. In this video, I will share all the details about this new program that was launched by the Canadian government in November 2024, and will also be sharing other top 5 ways to immigrate to Canada from Africa. So if you're ready to start your new life in Canada, stay tuned until the end of this video because I promise it will be worth it. And for my subscribers, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, we'll be discussing how to immigrate to Canada. Please like this video and subscribe before you leave. Now let's talk about this new pathway to immigrate to Canada. The Government of Canada has recently introduced a new pathway for Africans to immigrate to Canada. This new pathway is called the Canada-Africa Mobility Initiative. The Canada-Africa Mobility Initiative is a new 5-year pilot program that will allow skilled workers from 6 African countries to obtain temporary work permits to work in Canada without needing a job offer from an employer in Canada. The countries eligible for this program are Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, and Morocco. This is not an exhaustive list and may change as the program progresses. But why did the Canadian government introduce this program? Well, according to Marco Mendicino, Canada's Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Canada needs immigrants to support our economic growth and prosperity. Through the Canada-Africa Mobility Initiative, we are creating new pathways for talented individuals from African countries to contribute their skills and talents to our economy. We are also diversifying our immigration portfolio and strengthening our partnerships with African countries. Now, what does this program entail? Under this new mobility initiative, more than 10,000 people will benefit annually from temporary open work permits, which will enable them to work in Canada for a period of up to 3 years. It could even be extended for another 3 years depending on your work permit conditions. Now you may ask, if I don't have a job offer, how do I get a work permit? Well, this program requires only proof of your eligibility and work experience. You don't need to have a job offer from an employer in Canada. Also note that although this program started in November 2022, the online application portal for the work permit is not yet available. As soon as it becomes available, I'll make sure to update you. So please take note. However, you can still submit your application through IRCC's paper-based application process. For more information about this program, visit the official website of the Canadian government and click on this link right here. Also note that this program is a temporary measure to address the labor market needs in Canada and will run for 5 years. Before we move on to other ways to immigrate to Canada, if you find value in my videos, kindly give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and share this video with anyone planning to migrate to Canada. Let's talk about the top 5 best ways to immigrate to Canada. And the first way to immigrate to Canada is through the Express Entry system. Express Entry is a points-based system used to manage applications for 3 of Canada's economic immigration programs: the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, and the Canadian Experience Class. To be eligible for Express Entry, you must have a valid passport, be in good health, have sufficient funds to support yourself and any family members you may be bringing with you to Canada, have a settlement plan, and meet the minimum language requirements. To create your Express Entry profile, you will need to create an account on the official website of the Canadian government, complete the online application form, pay the application fee, upload supporting documents, and submit your profile. Once your profile is created, it will be placed in a pool of other candidates. Candidates are selected from the pool every 2 weeks through a process called the Express Entry Draw. Those selected receive an invitation to apply, which means they have met the minimum requirements for Canadian permanent residence. With this ITA, you will have 60 days to submit a complete application for permanent residence. Another way to immigrate to Canada is through the Provincial Nominee Program, also known as the PNP. Each province and territory in Canada has its own PNP, which is designed to help meet the unique economic and social needs of each province. To be eligible for APNP, you must generally have a valid passport, be in good health, have sufficient funds to support yourself and any family members you may be bringing with you to Canada, have a settlement plan, and meet the minimum language requirements. Each PNP has its own specific requirements and process, so it's important to research the particular program you're interested in. For example, some PNPs require you to have a job offer from an employer in that province, while others are more focused on your human capital factors such as age, education, and work experience. Also note that not all PNPs require you to have a bachelor's degree. Some of them accept applicants with a high school diploma or trade certification. The next way to immigrate to Canada is through the Atlantic Immigration Program. The Atlantic Immigration Program is a 5-year program designed to help address labor shortages and support economic growth in 4 Atlantic provinces: New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland and Labrador. To be eligible for this program, you must have a valid passport, be in good health, have sufficient funds to support yourself and any family members you may be bringing with you to Canada, have a settlement plan, and meet the minimum language requirements. You must also have a job offer from an employer in one of the 4 Atlantic provinces and meet the specific requirements of the program. Note that you must submit your application through the official website of the Atlantic Immigration Program. Another way to immigrate to Canada is through the Canadian Experience Class, also known as the CEC. The CEC is designed for individuals who have gained work experience in Canada. To be eligible for the CEC, you must have a valid passport, be in good health, have sufficient funds to support yourself and any family members you may be bringing with you to Canada, have a settlement plan, meet the minimum language requirements, and have at least 1 year of skilled work experience in Canada. You must also have been legally authorized to work in Canada and have been employed in Canada for at least 15 months out of the last 3 years. The last way to immigrate to Canada is through the Startup Visa Program. The Startup Visa Program is a 5-year program designed to help create jobs and stimulate innovation in Canada by encouraging entrepreneurs from around the world to come to Canada and start new businesses. To be eligible for this program, you must have a valid passport, be in good health, have sufficient funds to support yourself and any family members you may be bringing with you to Canada, have a settlement plan, meet the minimum language requirements, and have a promising startup company. You must also have an agreement in principle from a designated organization, which is an organization that has been designated by the Government of Canada to assess and support startup candidates. Now please note that the Canadian government has increased its immigration targets for 2023 and plans to welcome over 465,000 new permanent residents. This is an increase of over 100,000 people compared to 2022. The government plans to achieve this target by expanding several of its immigration programs, including the Express Entry System and the Provincial Nominee Program. If you want to learn more about these programs or start your application process, please visit the official website of the Canadian government. If you wish to book an appointment with me to guide you on the best pathway for you, kindly DM me on WhatsApp. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to turn on notifications so that you are notified as soon as I post a new video. You can watch this video next on ways to immigrate to the USA from Africa. See you in the next video.